Okay.
Okay, it's live. So. I think we have one question now.
Okay.
It's written on chat.
I can't see the chat, so.
Okay, so there is a question from Lucia. I would like to know what scholarships does the university have to offer?
Okay, so the scholarship we currently have on offer is an academic achievement scholarship. So for Polish students, they would need to achieve, let me just double check. At least 60% overall in the Matura. And that is a £2,000 scholarship in the first year of study. So that takes the cost down to £7,000 in the first year.
Okay, and if someone takes part in the IB Matura exam, the international Matura?
Okay, I would have to double check what the IB percentage is. I don't have that in front of me, I'm afraid. Let me just, I'll just check if I have it on my desktop. Okay. Okay, so the International Baccalaureate is 32 points, and the European Baccalaureate is 77%.
Okay.
Oh, and sorry, the Matura is 75%, I'm afraid.
Okay.
But obviously, finance is still available for students who want to start in 2020.
Of course. Do we know anything more about 2021?
Sorry?
Do we know anything more about the 2021?
Let me just turn you up. Sorry, can you just repeat that question?
Yeah, regarding the financial issues, do we know anything about the year 2021?
I'm afraid we don't. We're still waiting. We have put a request in. So if the worst case scenario is that European students will have to pay the same as what we class as international students, we have asked for a specific scholarship to be made available for European students that at least bring the cost back down to what they currently are. But none of it has been confirmed yet.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, it's frighteningly close to the deadline. I mean,
Okay, so I think we may start with talking about the university.
just generically about the university.
I think, yeah, it might be interesting for students who joined us today. So,
Okay, so the University of South Wales is one of the largest universities in the UK. We have over 30,000 students, but they're not on one campus. We have 4 campuses. So we have a campus in the city of Cardiff, in the centre. Now this is a creative industries campus. So the only thing we teach there are the creative industries. So everything from animation, game design, performing arts, film, TV, and set design and music. That's all taught on that campus. Then we have a smaller campus in the city of Newport, which is about 15 minutes from Cardiff. And that's where we teach hospitality and hotel management and some education courses. And then we have a very large traditional campus just outside the city of Cardiff in a town called Pontypridd. And that's where we teach most of our subjects. So business and accounting and finance, law, engineering, sciences, psychology, sport, and the humanities are all taught on this campus. And that is a very traditional university campus. And it has a big library, sports facilities, places to eat and hang out for the students. And it's quite, it's in between the city and the countryside. So it's surrounded by lovely lush green pastures and woodland. It's a very nice place to study. What else can I tell you about the university? So we teach everything from undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctorate programs. And most of our undergraduate courses do come with foundation years as well. So if a student doesn't quite manage to get the scores they need in their Matura, they can do a foundation year with us. So it does extend the course for another year, but it's a good option for those students who don't quite meet the initial entry requirements. Is there anything you'd like me to answer at this point?
Okay, Lutz, our attendee, she is interested in natural sciences and biochemistry. Could you tell more about these courses?
Yes, so we have quite an extensive biology and chemistry school. So I'm sure we would have a course suitable. I'll just run through some of the options. Bear with me while I log back on to my computer. So, okay, biological sciences, we have an applied bioscience degree. We also have a broad biology degree, as well as human biology, international wildlife biology, and medicinal and biological chemistry, natural history, medical sciences. So there's quite a broad range of subjects there to study. So if you want to know more about those individual courses, you can of course visit our website. And if you click on the course, it'll bring you up the modules you'll study in each year and tell you more about the course itself and how the course is structured. Any specific questions?
Not now, but our second attendee, Małgosia, she is interested in journalism and languages. So also about this, could you tell us something more?
Okay, so journalism is taught on our Cardiff campus. So we call that one of the creative industries. And we have, I think, 2 or 3 journalism courses. So we have a broad journalism degree, which will cover all aspects of journalism, including multimedia. Then we have a specific sports journalism course, which focuses obviously on sport. And again, you'll be able to study the different ways journalists interact with the public at the moment. So it's your traditional journalism, TV, radio, but then there's also multimedia journalism as well. So online podcasts and blogs and vlogs. And we also have a media, culture and journalism degree, which focuses more on the academic side of media and journalism. So that's the effect journalism and the media have on the public's consciousness, and it's a sociological type of degree. So again, quite a few options for the student there as well. Any more questions?
No, up to now.
Okay. So with
we have one more. Yeah, but we all just answered it, so there's no answer. It's I can answer it. Okay, I think yeah, we may talk generally because in general because there is no more questions up to now. So if you have something important to tell us, you may tell us. Just
Okay, well, I'll obviously the pandemic situation has affected not just the UK and Europe, but all over the world, and the university has worked to negate or lessen the damage the health emergency is having on its students. So I'll just talk about what we are currently doing. So we don't have any students on campus at the moment, or very few. Those students who weren't able to travel home are still with us, but there's not many of them. So all classes and lessons are currently being taught online. So we're using the university's existing infrastructure to teach courses online. So students have not just stopped studying. And awards will be given out when students graduate in the summer, the same as any other time. Whether they'll be able to actually travel to the university and do the graduation ceremony is a little doubtful, but we'll wait and see. And for September 2020, we're currently working as business as usual. So we are telling all our students that we will have an enrollment in September. However, if that can't happen, we do have specific policies in place to ensure that students can join the university, whether it will just be remotely in the beginning. So they start their studies and enroll online and work and study from home for a month or two, and then join us in 2021. Or we just delay enrollment to January 2021 anyway. And where we'll be communicating what we'll be doing in the next few weeks, I would imagine. Some universities have already started to communicate with their new students to say that they will not be opening in September, but that's not our plan. That's not our current plan anyway. So you may have heard that England has relaxed its lockdown and people have started to go back to work. That's not the case in Wales, where we're still in lockdown because we have a different form of government here. We have a slightly independent government to the English government, and they have decided that it's still not safe for us to go back to work, even though numbers are relatively lower than England. We're still in lockdown, as is Scotland and Northern Ireland. So let me talk a little bit more about arrival at the university. So we have some accommodation options available for students. So we have on-campus accommodation at all our campuses. So that's run by the university. And students generally have their own room, their own bedroom and bathroom facilities, so ensuite and a study area. And then they share a kitchen and social area with some other students. So it's a bit like apartment living. Students don't have to live on campus. They can choose to live in private accommodation if they choose. And there's lots of different options available if a student wants to do that. So there are private student accommodation available, which is very much the same as what I've just described, but it's not affiliated or owned by the university. It's completely independent. or there are simply houses that a student can live in close to the university.
Okay, and we have one more question from Małgorzata.
Sure.
I know it's not specifically about the university, but could you tell more about job perspectives while studying? Is it hard to find a job?
Up until this point, it's been relatively easy to find part-time work in the UK whilst you're studying. So most of our students work part-time, whether they're from the UK, from the EU, or they're truly international. And most students work in the leisure or retail industry because that type of industry fits well within their studies. So they can work in the evenings or maybe 1 or 2 afternoons a week. So in bars, restaurants and cafes, or maybe in larger retail outlets. So up until this point, it's not been difficult. And we do hold a large jobs fair for our students to find part-time work, normally in October, at the beginning of October. And that's held at the Pontypridd campus, and prospective employers come in, and it's just like a traditional jobs fair, but just specifically for university students. But the new world order, if you like, has maybe spoilt that a little. We don't know what the job situation will be like moving forward. Obviously, restaurants, bars, clubs, shops are all shut at the moment, and we don't know when they'll be reopening, and we don't know how many staff they'll be willing to take on. So it's very difficult for me to say yes, you'll be able to find a job quite easily when we just don't know what the situation will be at the moment. Is that okay for an answer?
Yeah, I think it's enough.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes, sure.
So obviously, Polish students studying in their final year now have seen some disruption.
Yeah.
Are they ready to go back to high school yet, or is that not happening?
It's not happening because the government claimed that schools will be closed. So now the high school students, they cannot go back to school, so they stay at home. And also when it comes to the Matura exams, the exams are going to take place in June, from the 8th of June. So yes, and students cannot come back to school, actually.
Okay, so yeah, but the students are taking the Matura exam, which is good.
Yes, we have one more question.
Yeah, sure.
Is any additional exam required to get into the university if you are in the IB class? For example, is IELTS needed if you are in the IB program?
No. Let me just go back to the entry requirements. So as long as you're taking English as one of the IB subjects, we wouldn't require an IELTS test. Let me just get my slides back up. So in the Matura, we would ask for 70% or above in English. Then you wouldn't need to do an IELTS test. And I'm not quite sure what, because I very rarely get IB questions anymore. But I can find out and let you know. But yeah, as long as you're taking English and you have a reasonably good mark, we wouldn't expect you to do an IELTS test. And we can run our own English test as well at the university.
Okay. We may come back to the presentation.
So a typical IB offer is 5 or above in English, standard English. I hope that makes sense.
Oh, we have one more.
Okay.
Is it relatively cheap or expensive to afford living in the campus?
It's more expensive than private accommodation. Well, it depends on which private accommodation you have. If you go for a student specific, in a student village, as we call them, so then that can be more expensive. But if you live in accommodation around the university that's been converted from housing to student lets or student flats, that is less expensive. So for instance, a weekly rent on the university campus ranges from an average of about £100 to £110 per week. But if you live off campus in student accommodation around the university, you're probably going to pay about half of that, so £50 to £55 per week.
Okay.
The majority of first-year students stay on campus for the first year, and then once they've made friends and are a bit more confident about living in the UK and studying, then they'll move off campus into a private accommodation. So something else that we do for our new students is a welcome week. So before students start on their studies, the week leading up to that start, we have an international welcome week. And we have a team at the university who takes students around the university and shows them where everything is. Also shows them where the best places are to buy clothes and food. There are talks about living in the UK and maybe cultural differences. There's also some fun events. So we have barbecues and dinners. and quizzes so people can get to know each other. And there are also trips to other parts of the UK that you can sign up for as well for just a few pounds. They're quite reasonably priced. So sometimes we run trips to Bath or Oxford, other big cities. And we have a specialist team who look after students' welfare while they're with us. So if students do have any issues, whether they're just feeling homesick or they have a particular financial issue, they can come and talk to us and we'll do our very best to sort things out. And that same team runs events then right throughout the academic year to help students have some fun and join in with university life. Another thing that we do to help our students is in-sessional English programs. So what we find is that it's quite a big step for students to learn English in their home country and then come to the UK and study at university. Although for the vast majority of students from Poland and other EU countries, it's not an issue. But we do have extra English lessons, which are free of charge, and students can just pop along during the week and brush up on their English. So it's a conversational English. And we do find that many European students do this anyway, just to give them a helping hand. So any questions at this stage?
No questions up to now, so you may continue.
Okay. Right, okay, I'll talk a little bit about work placements. So quite a few of our courses have work placements built into them. Just looking at some of the programs that have guaranteed work experience. So for instance, our hotel and hospitality management, 50% of that course is actually outside the university in a work placement. Health and social care management, 15% of that course is on a work placement. And you'll find that we would encourage most of our students to do some type of work placement. So for instance, if you're doing a sports course, we can link you up to sports clubs or schools. If you're working in fashion design, you can work at a local fashion house or maybe work for one of the retail outlets. Construction project management, you'll be able to work in a construction site for maybe 1 day a week or 2 days a week or a week a month. And we also have a business clinic on campus that helps students start up their own business and encourage them to do that as well. Okay, any other questions?
No, I think we don't have more questions.
Okay. I can talk a little bit more about South Wales and where the campuses are. So I'll start with Cardiff. It's quite a small city, even though it is the capital of Wales. You can walk about and around it in a day, taking the sights. There's a castle right in the city centre, a Norman castle that dates back to the 11th century, I think. But it's surrounded by a much more modern Gothic castle that was built by an extremely wealthy industrialist a couple of hundred years ago. And you will notice there are castles dotted around the landscape every few miles. I think there are more castles in Wales per square kilometre than any other country in the world. We have the second largest castle in the UK is just a short distance from our Pontypridd and Cardiff campuses. That's called Caerphilly Castle. The only castle bigger is Windsor Castle, where the Queen lives. We have quite a lot of very, very good beaches in Wales. So although Cardiff is actually on the coast, if you want to go surfing or just spend a day at the beach, there are some excellent beaches, maybe 45 minutes to 60 minutes drive away, among some spectacular countryside as well. There's a national park just 30 minutes away from the university as well, so there's very good walking, hiking, and if you like mountain biking, there are excellent mountain biking trails all around the countryside as well. The rest of the UK is easily accessible from South Wales as well, so you can take a train or a bus or a coach to anywhere in the UK. London is around about 2.5 to 3 hours away, depending on train or coach. So you can spend a day in London or a couple of days in London, or you can visit friends in Manchester, Birmingham, Edinburgh, Derby, anywhere really. Yeah, so it's quite a nice place to study. The environment is quite good for studying as well. So if you want to just get on with your studies and have a nice quiet time, that's great, you can do that. But if you want to maybe go clubbing or go to the theatre or the cinema, that's quite easily done as well. Cardiff is a big shopping and leisure destination for most people in the UK, so it gets very busy on the weekends. There is a 75,000 seater stadium in the city centre. So traditionally you'd have your major sports stadiums outside the city centre, but this is right in the heart of the city, which is quite unique. And on certain sporting occasions, or it also holds, it's a concert venue as well. So we have, you know, Bruce Springsteen or U2 or Ed Sheeran. When they play in the city, it gets very, very busy and very, very lively, but it's all good fun. And because it's a shopping and leisure destination, that's where the part-time jobs are as well. So it's a good, fun place to study. We don't want you just concentrating on your studies. There's more to being at university than just study. So we want you to have fun as well. Okay. So the best place to actually find out information is on our website. So it's simply www.southwales, and that will take you direct to our website. There you'll find a list of all our courses and specific information about Polish students and the entry requirements for Poland if you visit our international site. There's also information there about accommodation and living expenses, and you can take virtual tours. So you can look around each of our campuses. So you can take a virtual tour of our Pontypridd campus, our Cardiff campus, our Newport campus. We do actually have a campus in Dubai. You can look around that one as well. But that's predominantly for aircraft engineering. We do have quite a large sports facility as well, as we teach sport. We have a very good football coaching course, or two actually. And we have students from all over the world studying football coaching with us. So we have one of the very few indoor full-sized football pitches in the UK. Maybe the only university with one of those facilities, and you can also look around those facilities online as well. We have lots of clubs and societies you can join. So if you're interested in sport, you can play your favorite sport with us. Or if you're into gaming, you can join the gaming society. Or performing, you can join drama or play music. Lots of different societies that you can join. They're all run by students, and the student union looks after them. Any more questions?
No, I think we covered the most important information, and actually Lucia said that she found out everything and it's clear for her. So if you have anything to add, so you may add. We have one attendee now, but there's no more questions. No more questions.
Okay. Perhaps we could say something about the application process. Oh, we were talking about qualifications earlier and what's happening in Poland. So we as a universities, we recognize that things are not normal.
Yes,
so so we will look at each individual application, and maybe if it hasn't reached our normal entry requirements, we will try and make some allowances. We will discuss it with yourselves and the students to see, if it's just a few points short, maybe because you weren't at school studying, you had things going on. I know it's very difficult to work at home at the moment and study at home. So we will take those things into consideration. And I'll mention English as well, because obviously is the English split into two exams. Is it an oral exam and a written exam?
Yes, this is true. So now in Poland, we will have just the written exam.
Yeah.
We won't have any oral exams.
Okay, so don't panic about that. Okay, we're not expecting you to have that oral part of the exam. So that's one big adjustment that we have made. We're pretty confident of Polish students' English anyway. So it's just that shouldn't be an issue. So I just want to put people's minds at rest that, we know the situation is difficult, and we will work with you guys to look at the exam results as for what they are. Is that clear?
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay, good. Okay. We also have a virtual open day coming up soon.
Okay. You may send me the link, and then I will tell them our students, to our applicants.
Yeah, as soon as it's, I think there's still, so 22nd of May. And as soon as I have the links, I shall forward them to you, so you can pass those on to students.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think they have everything ready yet.
Okay.
Obviously, it's a big task for our our developers to put everything online, and
I
we're,
can
we're having
imagine.
lecturers. Yeah, we're having lecturers record messages for students. So obviously, you know, they would on normal open day, we'd have students in, and the lecturers would just stand up and talk about their courses. Of that all has to be recorded. So once it's all up in line and fine, we'll get the information out to you. So
Okay.
are you seeing a big drop off in students interested in studying in the UK at the moment?
Yeah, they are interested, but everyone, is a bit afraid of the situation, and
Yeah.
actually, no one knows what happens in the future, in the near future. So that's a big question. But all in all, I think the vast majority of our applicants, they are eager to study, even if the first classes or the first term would be taught online, because it's always the opportunity. And I think they are into it, even though the current situation is very unstable.
Yeah, and that's the feedback we're getting as well. I mean, obviously students are keen if they've made their mind up that they want to study in the UK. Obviously they put their heart and soul into getting the exam results and putting everything in place. So, you know, the last thing we want to do is put the brakes on that, but we'll do everything we can to get everything up and running. Okay, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I can talk about.
Okay, I write a message in chat. Maybe someone will give us a question. Okay, there are no more questions, so I think we may end in this point. I think.
Okay, that's fine. And obviously, we're still working. If you have any questions, you can just contact us directly or speak to yourself or
Sure.
visit our website. And yeah, we're always more than happy to answer questions.
Sure, that's very kind. Okay, Richard, thank you for joining us today and telling us about the Southwest. And okay, our attendee told that it was very interesting and
Okay,
it was a
yes, I
nice
just
meeting.
saw that pop up on my screen. Yeah, great. And hopefully when all this is over, I can come and see you personally.
Yeah, everything will go on YouTube because we are now live on YouTube, and I put the webinar on our YouTube. So the rest of the students, they will also they could also see that. And I think that's it. We are in touch. If anything, happens, if you have more information regarding Brexit or regarding the virus, you may always, we are in touch. So you may write an email, and everything will come out.
Okay, yes, perfect storm of Brexit and virus.
Okay, so thank you, Richard. See you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice weekend.
Have a nice weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.